Hello, Power fans. It's Mathonical, and you are joining me for another new deck. This one is called Delver Mill, or at least that's what I'm calling it. And this is a deck that I've had my eye on a few times. Been this one person that's been playing it a ton. I've always wondered, how good is it? And that is Jer James B. I'm probably butchering your name, so my apologies. Essentially, this is a cross between Delver and a Turbo Mill deck, kind of hinging around Jace's Erasure with a lot of the standard draw spells that a Delver list would normally run. Still running Delver for getting some of those wins just through, turn one Delver. And, Spire Golem just to hold things back, a little bit of bounce to keep the opponent's things at bay, and counter magic. For the transitional sideboard into a full Delver strategy, I decided to take my own spin on the idea, and I initially tried with some like the Spellstutter's main board for more counters, but I realized I really, really like Spire Golem's main board. This really shuts down, like it gets in the way of other Delver strategies, it gets in the way of Boros decks, and it's just a really good creature to have on defense. It's also a 2/4 flyer, which is great for offense if we ever end up with the Delver package. So what I did is I shaved a little bit on the Thought Scours, even though it is nice and mills that little bit extra. I feel it's the weakest of the draw spells. I took out one Ponder, and for those three cards, I brought in three Spire Golems, and I took out one of the three snaps that was in the original list, and I brought in an extra Daze. But in general, the idea and theme of the deck is intact. On the sideboard, I wanted more options, so I took out one of the ninjas, and I took out the four Spellstutter Sprites. Not the four Spellstutter Sprites, sorry, the Fairy Miscreants. I feel like the Spellstutter Sprites on their own are already good, and you don't need the extra fairies just to be able to counter bigger things. Usually we've got actual counter spells for those anyway, and a Spellstutter Sprite countering a 1 mana spell is already going to be good enough. And the extra sideboard slots that this allows me by bringing Spire Golem's main board and cutting down the Delver package, I now get to bring in some Dispels, good for versus counter matchups, a couple Hydroblasts. Gut shots are there because I hate losing to things like Tribe, and it's decent against elves as well. And a Curfew, just to try and fight all of the mono-white heroic lists that are running around. And in general, our game plan is either play a Delver of Secrets and try and beat our opponent, but more commonly we're aiming to get a Jace's Erasure down while locking down the board state with Spire Golems and Delvers, and eventually draw enough cards to mill out our opponent. Whirlpool Rider is pivotal in this approach, being able to combo Gush, returning 2 islands, drawing 2 cards, and then casting a Rider with 1 or even 2 Erasures down can easily mill out 6, 12, 20 cards. You'll just have to wait and see. Let's try out to see how good that potential combo power really is. Is this deck good? Well, if we go by the top listings over here on the friendly league, we can see this individual's been doing quite well, so we might as well give it a try. Couldn't hurt, right? So, I will see you guys all in round 1.